The Empire awaits you with open jaws.
What's up, everybody? What's up, Silly? Another day. What's up, Unknown? Your second inspired learning. It's crazy. Are you the latest post there, Seda? Did this for 25 divines today? That's pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Chance to block attack damage is nice. Pretty good. What's up, Ginja? What's up, Ander? Finally making some progress clearing yellow. It's good to hear. What is this music? Why am I slowly dancing to it? It's a synthwave playlist. Burner, I am seriously thinking about ditching Xbox and going PC. You don't need like a really high-end gaming PC for PoE 1, but you need like something decent. But I mean, I have really good gaming PCs, so it's hard to say. How do we get level 21 gems with 20 quality, and which ones should we level in offhand? So the way you get a 21-20 gem is you have to quality a 20 gem to 20 to level 20, quality 20, and then you val it with a val orb. And if you're lucky, it'll corrupt it into a 21. I usually just buy mine from trade when I have enough money saved up. Yeah, you don't need like something crazy to run PoE 1. It's not like, you know, it's also an older game. Yeah, like I have a pretty expensive rig, so I don't really like look at requirements for games like PoE because I know it's just going to run stuff like that. What's up, God Films? So just so you guys are wondering, I'm leveling up a side character here, testing out a new build. I really wanted to play around with the new wave of conviction. I'm trying to see if I can actually make a cyclone build out of it. And essentially, you spin around and just spew the wave of conviction everywhere. It looks something like this. And then you ignite and proliferate and blow up packs. So, I've been messing around with this off stream. We should run 2020 until we can afford 2120 then? Yeah. Yeah, I'll go over the POB in a second and I'll explain. Because I have a weapon now that has a particular stat on it that you can't get, that I wasn't like crafting prior to this league, it allows us to actually remove Impale as a support. But yeah, I'm gonna mess around with this character a bit more, see what I can do with it. As far as the Shaper Slam, if we hit the crit multi-crit chance, if you haven't crit hybrid, does that block benchcraft crit chance? I don't know, you'd have to craft it, exile it. I don't think it does, since it's a hybrid, but I could be wrong. So, with our POB, if you do the POB command in chat, sorry, I have a family in the kitchen in the background right now, so you're gonna probably hear some random noises. If you look at the POB here, I've edited the trees. So on the gem setup, we're not using Impale anymore, and that's because the staff that I've crafted has Impale chance on it. Let me enlarge this real quick so you guys can see this better. Give me a second. I'll blow this up here. Okay. So yeah, this staff has chance to impale on it, and because we have that, we can actually respec our trees slightly and pick up these impale nodes here. And by doing this, we can actually run a different gem besides impale. So I put infused challenge on because it gives us a bit more damage reduction. And yeah, we're also using brutality on our ground slam with earth shaking setup now. So it's pretty good. The other thing I did was I removed some stuff on. I created like an entry level crit tree because I think some of you guys are getting confused that you have to run Resolute Technique till 90. So in the new POB, there's like a level 77 tree that's still using RT. But you can see there's no more level 90 Resolute Technique tree. I got rid of that, and what I have instead is a level 90 just entry level crit tree that has like very cheap stuff on it outside of maybe the Abyssus, which is usually like, I don't know, anywhere from like 30C to a Divine, or 2 Divines depending on how well rolled it is. But the staff is like a 600 PDPS staff, something you can craft really simple. But basically the idea is there's no jewels on it. It's just an entry-level crit tree, and then you have your more investment crit tree, which has like, you know, a decent 900 Fizz DPS staff on it and things like Light of Meaning, etc. So this is more of like, you know, you've invested in the build for a while, you're comfortably, you know, doing T16s and getting into T17s like I'm gonna do today. And then you still have like your Giga Endgame tree, which has, you know, like ridiculous items on it. So this is like the new POB. I also added in the note sections when to swap to crit. You want to swap to crit ASAP. And I also fixed the regex for T16s. So there's a T16 regex here for map mods, and I also made one for T17s. So that's in the notes. So there was struggling to beat a boss. His sword cyclone, no shockwave. Saw your crafting video, crafted the starter sap, swapped the passives, got shockwave, and was able to beat it easily and still making progress. Yeah, no problem. Indigo. What's the point where we start making the change to crit? Is there like a budget? That's in the new POB ender. I have an example tree around level 90 that shows you what your tree should look like and the type of gear you should have. But yeah, so the plan today is I'm going to test out T17s and see what mods feel good and don't feel good on the build. And then probably just farm some more T16s. It's a pretty good jewel. Yeah, Devastator is pretty OP. I really like that. Oh, gotcha, Ander. Yeah, and Devastator is like a really nice thing on the cluster jewel to have. Oh yeah, I gotta refocus it. Sorry guys. I gotta stretch my screen for the POB. And I always forget to fit this back. Give me a second. Here we go. Yeah, I was looking at this cluster jewel. Someone linked to me. Devastator is a pretty nice mod. Enemies killed with attack hits have a chance to explode is always good. Yeah, I was helping some people with their POBs yesterday. There's this extreme focus everyone has on getting their cluster jewel. And I was trying to explain like the importance of the cluster jewel is to give us fortification so that we can craft a better chest. Like I think a lot of people are obsessed with getting cluster jewels set up. But I was explaining to people, like, if you spec your tree properly and you spec your gear properly, you don't need the cluster jewel to be able to blast T16s and even do some T17s like I'm going to do today. So I don't think people really understand what that cluster jewel is for. That cluster jewel solves fortification so that we don't have to put points in the tree here and we don't have to have it on our chest. Anything on top of the jewel having fortification via Overlord is like a perk, but the jewel exists to fix Overlord, fix fortification, and give us better damage. Because like if you take these 5 points to get fortification here in the tree, you're getting no damage here. You're just getting the fortification. Whereas if we put 5 points in here to a cluster jewel to get Overlord, we then have a bunch of damage we can pick up on that jewel. So it's just more point efficient to do a cluster jewel to solve fortification than it is to just spec these 5 points here, because we can get extra damage down here. But you don't need that. That's just a nicety later on so that we can do more stuff with our gear. I see people trying to make like a cluster jewel and they still don't have a good weapon, or you know, they don't even have like basic things on their build figured out.
Awaits you with open jaws.
Thanks Wald for the follow. Thanks Apollo for the follow. Thanks Awesome for the follow. Thanks Xpain for the sub. That's much appreciated.
The Empire awaits you with open jaws.
I'm running Brian King Ender right now. So yeah, I'm still running it. Well, the problem, Bacon, is like eventually we want the chest that has like apply additional curse, attack crit chance, stun immunity, mana cost reduction. The chest solves a lot of issues with the build, so that way we can run a different anoint in our boots, we can drop unwavering stance, we can drop maybe 2 points or 3 points on the mana nodes. It solves a lot of things that lets us do more with the tree and our gear. So that's why Overlord is nice. Because if I take this point out of Unwavering, I take 2 points out of the mana. That's 3 points that I can then put into the Cluster Jewel setup that just gets us more damage. Plus we get way more damage with the attack crit mod on the chest, etc. Yeah, I kind of moved away from that AK. I thought about maybe not running Abyssus, but now that I saw that we can double anoint a corrupted abyssus essentially. It's too good. So because like I only have 2 pieces of gear really that I could scale the invasion on. I just went with like the best armor pieces I could get. So I'm just doing basically all armor now, and I dropped the iron reflexes. I think the spell suppression would be nice, but it's not actually necessary. It's obviously nice, but yeah. The POB has Aracala and Ralakesh. Because if you're looking at the endgame build, the reason why we have Aracala and Ralakesh is because we have a Storm Shroud that gives us elemental ailment immunity, so we don't need Soul the Brine King. Likewise, if you look at the crit tree, we have a Storm Shroud, which is why we don't need Brine King, right? I don't have a Storm Shroud yet, so I'm running Brine King, but that's why on these trees you see Aracali, because that's a better ascendancy to deal with degen like dodge damage. But if you look like on the Uber Lab, I don't even have it set yet because you're like, doesn't even matter at that point. For your bandits, yeah, you want to help Alira while you're leveling. So if you look at the 77 tree, we still have help Alira. If you look at the earlier loadouts, we still have help Alira. But by the time you're like doing crit conversion and stuff, you want to change that to get the extra point back on the tree. So I do swap the bandit, like you get that point back later on and deal with the resistances. So those are some of the basic changes I made to the tree. Got rid of the Resolute Technique level 90 tree because that was misleading people to play something they shouldn't for far too long. Question on making a medium cluster: is it easier to roll defenses at Harvest Bench for the 2 notables when you need 1 defense, 1 attack notable, both pre and prefix? I'm not sure, Apollo. I usually don't roll cluster jewels. I usually just buy them on trade. If I was playing SSF, I probably would have looked more into it, but typically the cluster jewels are not expensive, and I just usually buy them on trade. I think the only time it's worth divining the staff jewels is if you have a staff that's got like 950 DPS or higher. Otherwise, I think you're just wasting your divines. Got it. Was thinking on dropping it my own since I had good resistance for now, but didn't want to fuck up. No, yeah. If your resistances are good, you should get the point back. Yeah, I've heard Harvest is really good for crafting jewels. So you're in game, it's never going to have a proper estimation of your crit chance. Because like right now mine says 58%, right? If I pop my flasks, I'm up to 66%. It's not including the fact that I have 4 power charges on single target and some other stuff. So yeah, it's a lot higher than what it will appear in game. What's up, Herzen? Not too bad. I'm a little tired today. I just got back from doing some gambling at the casino for a little bit. Family. Okay. Let's look at trade and see what we have here. Whoa! Holy snikes. Those maps skyrocketed in price. What the heck happened? How many are listed right now on trade? Am I looking? I'm looking at standard, that's why. For some reason my trade sets to standard. I gotta just clear out my browser. I was like, why are the maps so expensive? But that's crazy. This makes a lot more sense. Yeah, I actually crafted another staff and sold it and made a ton of divine, so... I actually got enough to grab my more than skill, Forbidden Flame and Forbidden Flesh, which is why I'm going to be testing out some T17s today. So we're going to do that real quick. I did come up with a regex for this. I might expand on it a little bit. Not when I bought them the other day. I bought them yesterday, Herzen, and they were like 20 divine a pop. Have they gone up in price since yesterday? Allocates. More than skill. Holy dude, they skyrocketed in price. What is going on? I picked them up for like, I picked up one for like 18 divine and the other one for like 20. That's crazy. Okay, so what we're looking for is you gotta be careful when you run your T17s. I actually might need to do a regular map. I need gold so I can get some chaos so we can roll this. So let's go do a regular map real quick. I shifted my Atlas strategy to farming rogue exiles and then just trying to get some map drop chance on the tree. So we're taking like all the rogue exile nodes, running torment to possess them, as well as using ritual to respawn the rogue exiles. Yeah, you always want to update. You always want to upgrade your main gem skills first, like Cyclone and General's Cry, and then Ground Slam, and then from there you upgrade the supports. I like Pulverize at 20% because it gives you the increased AoE, which feels really nice. What do you mean players falling off, Apollo? Like less players playing. Could be that there's more players buying the jewels too. Yeah, Steam is showing me like 100, what, 20,000 peak for the day. That's fairly typical for a PoE 1 league. It's not going to be like PoE 2. Although that seems like a noticeable decrease at the end of week 1 versus what you saw in Settlers. But yeah, I think it's also more likely that people are buying those jewels now that they have the money for it. And there may not just be enough on the market. Yeah, I'm not saying you were a PoE 2 guy, Apollo. I'm just saying that, you know, PoE 2 gets like 300 to 500k players when they do like a season for a league. Typically with PoE 1 you see like maybe 160 to 200k on league launch, and then after like a week or two it dies down to what you see right now, like around 100,000, maybe 120. I'd have to pull up like charts on Steam. It seems like it's a bit more of a dip than Settlers, but yeah, 120k peak for today sounds about right for a PoE 1 league on Steam charts. So increasing the quality of GC is just more damage to closer targets. Oh, sorry, you asked GC. I thought you meant a Ground Slam. Yeah, it gives you an extra clone, sorry. The General's Cry gives you an extra Mirage Warrior. Alright. Let's do a regular map so we can get some gold and buy some chaos. I was running these T16 toxic sewers, doing like a rogue exile strategy. Like this. So I'll do this for a little bit. I need some gold. I've actually never tried like delving with this build. It's probably fun. I wouldn't be opposed. Delve would be kind of fun on Cyclone because like all the corridors are, you know, kind of like perfectly lined up. Or it's about the size of Cyclone. Oh, I need to check King's March because I had a bunch of stuff going on there before I left. If you do the POB command in chat, Mikkel, you can get my latest POB. Well, for a good delve build, you need like insane survivability for like deep delve, which this build has okay survivability, but it doesn't have like deep delve survivability. Like this build wouldn't be able to do like 600 plus, I think, delve. Like it would be pretty rough. Yeah, I think this build could do the first couple hundred levels of delve relatively okay, and then I think you'd hit a wall pretty quick when you get to like deep delve. I've been delving with the build some, it's good, got into like 300 depth, no problems, only downside is problem with the bosses due to squishy against the high peak damage they can have. Yeah. Yeah, I figured the first couple hundred levels it would be fine for something like delve. And then obviously, like, the more armor you can stack on the build, getting you Forbidden Flame Flesh, those things will help a bit with the tankiness of the build. Kind of curious to try out the Mercs now that they nerfed them. They were extremely rippy on some of these maps I've been doing. Like, sometimes they would just one-shot me right off the bat. It can confirm? Okay. Yeah, I was joking around yesterday at the end of my stream that like, oh no, this was when I was streaming in Discord afterwards. I was like, yeah, these rogue exiles that I'm juicing are actually easier than the mercenaries, which is kind of funny to me. You know, juiced rogue exiles on a T16 are actually less scary than a mercenary. Like this guy is less scary than a mercenary, which is just hilarious to me. Mirage, oh sure. Making a few divines on delving today, very fun. There you go, Mikkel.
This choice carries weight.
Raised Spectre of Transience. It seems scary. Not really.
It is forfeit.
You love the filter sounds, Mandingo? Yeah, they're pretty dope, right? I enjoy them. Alright, how much gold do we have? Plenty enough to get chaos. I'm currently using a bastion. So he has determination, prism plate, got a Calm's binding and a Perkle's toe on him. Currently on T5, uber strict.
The Empire lives on, and so do its most loyal of servants.
Thanks Apollo for the follow. Thanks Charlie for the sub. Using as sniper with mine at the moment works well. Need an upgrade though. Yeah. Let's get some chaos. Alright, so we're looking to roll this map. Now, things that my filter isn't picking up, I gotta adjust my... Okay, we gotta fix the filter for T17s because it didn't work out. I think this got scuffed. Alright, so the things I want to avoid right off the bat is saw blades, drowning orbs, leech, alright, let's see what pops up here. We also don't want to have it have elemental weakness. Okay. Question about the crit swap in the PUB. Do you just have to respec the passive tree? There's some gem changes too, James, when you go crit. Should be in the POV. Alright. Yeah, we don't want the reduced action speed either. That's going to feel terrible. I really hate that there's a just penalty cost. Like, it's basically a tax. Gotta spam chaoses. Because they want to throw all these stupid mods on T17s that just make things ridiculously OP. This actually should be fine. Yeah, no problem, James. Appreciate it. I sent help. I burnt so much divine on crafting. RIP. Yeah. Rogue Exile could be scary in T17, but we'll try it out. I feel like I should just do my general expedition harvest tree. T17. 52 points. Yowzer. Big shrine. By the way, the graph for gloves isn't that great after all. Reduces MS effect from boots. Oof. Yeah, no, we don't want that at all. Yeah, I think we'll grab the shrine nodes here. Shrine nodes here. Could try like, let's see what else do here. Ooh, should unspec this so that way we can get scarab drops. Yeah, but I mean, for single target, I could see the use of that birdie, but like when we're just blasting through trash, he's not going to be applying that curse or anything. I guess it doesn't matter because you're blasting through trash. So, did you confirm that the curse on hit ring doesn't override our assassin's mark? Because that's typically what happens with an animated guardian. You can't just stick a curse on an animate guardian like a ring like that because it'll override your curse. So does a mercenary running a crit on hit ring override your assassin's mark on a single target? Yeah. Yeah, I figured you'd have to do something like that to get it to work. Alright, let's try this T17. Put our scarabs back in the stash there. Yeah, we could run a different ring if we put the curse on the mercenary. The only thing I worry about is, like, I'm not too concerned with that on regular bossing and stuff. I'm concerned about it, like, on T17s and Uber Pinnacle bosses. Will our mercenaries survive throughout the fight to be able to keep that curse up? I don't know. I'm not sure. My mercenary seems fine, like on trash and T17s. I'd be curious to see, like, when we do the boss here. He's probably going to survive and I'm going to die, actually. This boss is going to be pretty rippy. Yeah. I start to wonder, like, when you're pushing, like, the hardest content in the game, how reliable the uptime on a mercenary is going to be. Because the more you start swapping out gear on him for, like, stacking uniques, the weaker he's going to become, right? So you're taking away his HP, you're taking away his defensive layers. I think eventually they're just going to die to shit, personally. Especially, like, right now I'm just running a T17, but if you were doing, like, really juiced T17s, I don't know. Does the rings happen in here? Because that would just be tragic. It'd be tragic if the rings happen in this zone. Don't think they would. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Real Dawn. But the problem is if you start swapping out a bunch of gear on your Mercenary for, like, you know, uniques and stuff, it might be hard to cap resistances in life and all that kind of stuff. Depends on how many uniques you're trying to run on them to, like, you know, do a bunch of different things. Can't remember the last time I saw the Merc HP go down, but I haven't touched yet. I actually want to try the curse on hit rank thing. I think, like, for single target, if they can survive, like, you know, harder bosses in the game, that's definitely, like, clutch. And then you can, we can do something different with our ring slot. That'd be really cool, actually. We could even run, like, a unique ring, like someone mentioned Death's Rush, which doesn't help us on bossing, but on mapping it would, you know, would blast even harder, basically. I'd be curious to see, like, what unique rings we could run that would be good for both bossing and mapping that are huge damage multipliers. Oh yeah, Ryan, I haven't picked one up yet. I probably should. I don't know why I haven't picked up a Val Molten Shell. Having that extra defensive button is really nice. Wow, thank you guys for the gifted subs here from down. That's huge. Yeah, I probably should have picked up a Val Molten Shell before I started doing this, actually. Can I swap out of Impale Gems and GC Cyclone setup without the weapon craft? No. So, even if you take these points here on the tree, if you don't have this on your weapon, you're going to be at 85% chance to impale on hits. And you really want to be at 100%. So, it probably sims better to keep impale on your setup at that point because you're getting impale hit cap with it, essentially. Let's do a T17 Merc. Take their stash, whatever.
It's my lucky day.
Bought a hybrid 6-link yesterday and was about to switch to the crit setup, but it used the armor version. Now I still use it. There's nothing wrong with using the hybrid. You can still spec into Iron Reflexes and gain that value. The ring went off. I didn't get out of it in time. So I'm looking over at chat. But eventually, yeah, I think just staying armor is going to be the play. I tested it out, and I don't think it's going to be worth those points in Iron Reflexes. So I do recommend staying armor in the long term. Did you ever look at the new Astrolabe amulet to see if it could? I haven't yet. Down, sorry. Kills on stat. What about implicit in gloves? You can get 100% with it. Yeah, you could do it on gloves too, Wald. I just think that if you're gonna Shaper Slam the staff for the, or I'm sorry, if you're gonna unveil for the prefix, the best one of the three is the impale chance, right? Like if you're doing that strategy and not fracturing it, and you're gonna unveil the prefix, undisputably, the impale one is the best of the three, right? We don't care about bleed or poison, but getting that extra impale chance means we can have, you know, the modifier on our glove to be something else that boosts our damage even better. But if you want to do like a fractured staff base and just do the impale on the gloves, and then you can do the gem swap setup, that's fine too. We're probably gonna die here, guys, because I'm not good at bossing. We'll see. Yep. We definitely can't eat its slam, so there's that. Ooh. Yeah. So maybe Enfeeble is no bueno. So maybe Enfeeble is no bueno. Yeah, I'm testing out these mods now to see what feels the rippiest on our build. Yeah. It slam wrecks us for sure. Oh, it's just less damage and accuracy. That shouldn't affect our defense. Yeah. Could be the 220% of his damage, extra damage of a random element. But I think you would think our elemental damage mitigation is better. Yeah, we just can't take his blast, basically. Ooh, this is unfortunate. Can we call him before he calls us? Okay. I'd be curious to try him again without the 220 fizz as random elements. What's up, Chaponi? The other thing that really makes this build feel good, and I found it to be quite necessary in Settlers, was having a Progenesis. Having a Progenesis pretty much helps with those big hits quite a bit, actually. To the point where I think, like, if you want to be comfortable doing T17 and Uber Pinnacle bosses, we're probably going to have to run a Progenesis flask to help with those big hits. I shudder to think how much a Progenesis is right now. Yeah, I actually made another staff yesterday night, Japoni, and I sold it for quite a bit, and I was able to get some stuff for the build. 71 Divine for for Progenesis right now. Nice. Mm-hmm. That's not even for a decently rolled one. A decently rolled Progenesis. A decent Progenesis. It's like 75 Divine. Yeah. Well, I found one Dawn that's actually 75 that's decently rolled, so yeah. Last 10.40 seconds. Yeah. I did mention this in my video, guys, like, to be able to do Uber Pinnacle bosses, like, comfortably, and T17s, you know, comfortably, a Progenesis is kind of mandatory on this build. Yeah, that's why I tell people, can you do the high-end content comfortably? Yes, with investment. We don't have like a huge HP pool, so basically when you take a large hit, Ryan, it staggers the damage out over 4 seconds instead of you taking it all at once. So basically you'll see your HP start to drain a lot over a couple seconds because it takes the big hit and spreads it out over several seconds. So it's a really good way to deal with massive damage in the game. It's not to say you can't do a T17 map, I just did one. It just means that when we get those big slams and hits, especially since we're running Abyssus, we're going to be pretty weak to it. So just keep that in mind, that is a thing. Is this new with the patch where my stash auto closes this? Because I'm not a fan. Why is this not staying open? Lock maybe? There. Wait, what? Okay. Yeah, I don't know why that came unlocked. Maybe I misclicked it. Anywho, yeah. Let's see. We have a couple frags here. Be curious to see. How we do on Cortex. I also crafted a really good exquisite blade, but no one playing two-handed swords. Yeah, there's some streamers that are trying to push like sword cyclone builds, but I don't know how popular that is. Got my business day and slammed a 750 P DPS staff as well. Was only able to 5-link it though. Yeah, 5-link is fine. Eventually you can get a 6-link on it, right? Alright, let's go do Uber Cortex. Uber Pinnacle Cortex. Let's see how this goes. Wonder what scary mods we got.
Regal orb. Sprinkler. Sprinkler. Cha-ching. Cha-ching.
How are you solving for the dex init requirements for the staff? I use an amulet with lots of stats. So you can see right here I essentially have like over 90 dexterity on this amulet, and I have almost 90 intelligence, plus accuracy, plus some fizz damage, and then I just crafted on some life. So I'm using this right now to solve my attributes and help get hit capped. Pretty juicy amulet. 92 intelligence and dexterity. Yeah, oh holy shit indeed, big. I didn't realize fragments were that cheap for Uber Boss. Saw Texas server going down too. Oh no. Oh no. Am I about to DC on it when I go to do the Uber Boss? That's unfortunate. RIP. Yeah, the European servers have just been taking massive L's this entire league, as for sure. Got a nice bit of gold from doing this. Alright. Uber Cortex. Let's go. At this point, Ryan, I get a Progenesis because that's going to be the Progenesis is going to be the best layer of defense on my build now. That's why I'm just gambling all my currency. I'm 1 to 2 DCs away from quitting. Yeah. Well, they came out with the post, right? They're getting DDoSed pretty hard, so it's kind of unfortunate. All right, let's see how this goes. I'd say the damage is pretty good for the Uber boss. Yeah, damage feels alright. Oh, this is so sketch. Get out of the suck, get out of the suck. Yeah, damage is pretty good. Yo, Uber Cyrus is going to be one of the hardest builds on this. Or one of the hardest bosses. Him and Maven are particularly bad because of the degen. I mean, you're not wrong, Walden. I mean, we all see the elephant in the room, right? Let's not beat around the bush here. Rip. That degen gets us, dudes. That's where Progenesis would have been pretty nice. Well, Progenesis may not have helped with that, actually, the degen. Can I call them before they kill me? No. Oh, I got them, yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, so we can do an Uber Pinnacle boss. Humor specific, they make special... Oh, okay, you're answering his question. Hey. What do we get on the mark? Oh, that's unfortunate. It's garbage. Defeat any 4 of the following Pinnacle boss encounters while the area is level 85. Yeah, Walden, like I can't overstate how important Progenesis is for doing the endgame content on this build if you want it to be comfortable. Yeah. I mean, we are at the end of the day a Slayer build. Like, we are Slayer, right? So it's all offense is the best defense. So you can scale the damage super high too to like trivialize the fight also. But if you want like more defense outside of the block to deal with mega hits, because right, block, even though we have like 90% block right now, pretty much, when we do miss blocking and we take that big hit, you need some other way to mitigate it, which is what Progenesis does. Are the new bosses only pinnacle, or are those regular versions? The new bosses are just regular bosses. They're not uber pinnacle bosses. Yeah, I'm fishing Japoni for the Termination, Vitality, Strength Merc. That's the one I want. I don't really think Bastion is the play. I want the Vitality. But yeah, at the end of the day, guys, we are a Slayer build. So, like, you either scale the damage super high to where you're, like, trivializing the fight, or you gotta find another defensive layer for the big hit when our block doesn't work. Which is gonna be a Progenesis. I don't know about Determination Haste. It's been data mined fumbles, so you can actually see all the available combinations, essentially. Let's go to King's March and check stuff. I had some stuff going here. Is my town dead right now? Yeah, I ran out of gold. Of course it did, because it takes like 50,000 gold an hour.
You should check out Hale.
See what I got on ship. Garbage. I got garbage.
Come on in. What have you got? Not bad, not bad. Hale.
Don't forget, you've got a bit of treasure to fetch.
When I make the chest, I'll probably do a video on that. How do you get the 90% block? Do you have lucky block? Yeah, I made a staff and sold it for some monies last night, and then I picked up More Than Skill, Forbidden Flame, and Forbidden Flesh. I have lucky block right now. I would not have probably been able to do the Uber Pinnacle boss fight without it. Possibly. What's my hashtag for the friends thing? Oh, like my POV character? Like my profile name? It's my profile. What strat are you farming right now? I was doing Rogue Exiles. Farming Rogue Exiles and like Toxic Sewer. Okay, cool. That's what I was wrong about Shaper Slam. Item level 84 is always better because T2 MS is eye level 76. Oh, so there's a T2 Shaper MS that you can't even avoid. Rip. You gotta do like it's like a benchcraft recipe where you trade in like 20 Orbs of Regret and an amulet. I think it's Onyx Amulet. Oh yeah, Sensei, what's the strat? What do you got? Mage Blood is the best belt in the game for everything. So bossing, mapping, whatever. However, Headhunter is incredibly fun when you're mapping on this build. I actually, like, if I wasn't probably going to save for Progenesis, because we need that extra layer of defense now that I'm officially like in the actual endgame, right? The high peak endgame of PoE 1. And to make that better quality of life, I need a Progenesis more than anything else. Probably a Progenesis and then a Mage Blood would make this like feel super solid. And a Storm Shroud for Elemental Ailment immunity. So it's all about defenses now. My damage is fine. I can scale damage higher, that's great too, but like right now I just gotta round out all the defenses. Progenesis for the big hits. Storm Shroud to avoid all the elemental ailments, Mage Blood to Giga pump my flasks. But Headhunter on this build when you're mapping is one of the funnest things in the game. Like playing Cyclone Headhunter is so much fun. Headhunter's probably going for a ridiculous amount of money right now. If a Progenesis is selling for 75 Divine, oh, they're about on par. They're about 85 Divine right now. That's about normal for a Headhunter, about 85, 86 Divine. That's actually about normal, like sitting around 90 Divine is about normal for a Headhunter nowadays. Mage Blood's gotta be around 200, right? 200 plus for a decent Mage Blood. Wow, Mage Bloods are cheap? Wait. Okay, so a non-corrupted 4 magic utility Mage Blood's like 168 right now. It's not too bad. I don't know if my character's on PoE Ninja. I'm at the highest leveled Slayer, so I don't know. Nah, I bought this ring on trade. For like 2 Divine or something. I have Perkles. I have Perkles toe on my Now I want you guys to notice something. Talking about your Mercenary, juicing them up with all these uniques to do all this crazy stuff. My Mercenary died on the Uber Pinnacle fight. And I have 2 uniques on my Mercenary. This is where I'm talking about, like, you guys need to be a little bit careful about, like, oh, I'm just going to throw like 18 uniques on my Mercenary and do all this stuff. Like, my Mercenary died on that fight. So I lost Determination, I lost Prism Plate. There's a good chance that your Mercenary is not going to be any help to you whatsoever. And I mean whatsoever, if you're trying to do Uber Pinnacle bosses. So I would recommend that unless you're making the juiciest, tankiest Mercenary with like well-crafted rare gear and defensive layers, that it's not going to help you the way you guys think when you do an Uber Pinnacle boss. Mine got obliterated. Mine's dead right now. So, yeah, Merc skill issue, indeed. So be careful about like going all POB warrior, thinking that I'm just going to slap on like 5 uniques and he's going to like do solve all these things for me. And then he dies like as soon as you go to do the boss. My problem, Bacon, is I don't have the ability to take a large hit on this build without Progenesis, right? Forbidden Flame and Flesh makes you feel really tanky. It doesn't solve the big hits, which is why I've said repeatedly over the last several weeks that, you know, the best defensive layer when you get to T17 bosses and Uber Pinnacles is having a Progenesis to take large hits. It is the best thing. Forbidden Flame and Flesh just make your character all around feel smoother and tankier because you're just essentially blocking almost all the damage that you take all the time. And that doesn't really matter, like from rares and stuff and when you're mapping. But when you do a boss, and you don't block that big physical hit, and you don't have something like Progenesis to stagger it, you're gonna die. Yeah, Assassin's Mark gives you crit and crit multi, brutal. That's why you use it on a crit build. How do you get Fortify when you transition to a critical strike build? Because you lose the Fortify melee hit passive points. It's because on our chest right now we're running the melee hits have chance to Fortify. So, yeah. Yeah, you're not going to be able to post links, sorry. Nightbot blocks it. If you DM me, if you send me like a message on Twitch, Sensei, I can take a look at it. Yeah. Okay. Let's run another T17. I mean, I'd have to go on to Twitch actually. I just have Streamlabs open right now. Let's see. Click to show. Yeah. Go check this out. I don't have any crazy investment, legit 6 divines into the build currently. You want me to look at your POB? Out of curiosity, how are you generating frenzy charges on this? You think the DPS difference between Abyssus and non-Abyssus isn't that high? It's pretty high. Abyssus is insane damage. Maybe not when you first go crit, but as you scale your build out, it's like millions and millions of damage. So you're not running General's Cry, you're just doing pure Cyclone. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't understand how you're generating frenzy charges though when you're doing a single target fight. Yeah, I have Perkle's Toe on my Mercenary 2 Sensei, but like the problem is you can't rely on that when you're doing a Uber Pinnacle boss. Like mine just died, so I don't have Lucky Hit. Also, unless I'm missing something, you don't have Frenzy charges when you're doing a boss. You would have Max Pride effect though. You'd also be close to the enemy. Yeah, so you're doing Uber Pinnacle bosses right now, Sensei? Mine doesn't die on regular content. Like when I'm doing T16s and like T17s, he seems okay. He just got annihilated when I did Uber Cortex, and Uber Cortex is one of the easier Uber Pinnacle fights. Like it's probably like entry-level Uber Pinnacle boss fight, which is why I did it as my first Uber Pinnacle. And he got annihilated. Yeah, Perkle's Toe is OP, I agree. But if your Merc isn't going to be able to survive an Uber Pinnacle fight, you can't really like rely on that. Granted, I think like I could gear my Mercenary up a lot tankier and he would survive the fight, because I haven't really put like a lot of investment into him in that regard. So I believe he's actually still under resistance cap and stuff. So I can make this guy like a lot tankier. I just have to fix his gear. So I think like if you go all in on life and yeah, Ryslotha's coil is nice. The problem I have with using Ryslotha's coil is once again, like, I'm thinking about defense, Sensei, not about damage. You just saw that my damage was fine on the Uber Pinnacle fight. What we need more is defense. Infused channeling gives us defense. Having a rare belt with life and like chaos resistance and extra armor gives us defense, especially if it's a Stygian and we can socket one of our Abyss Jewels in there, which we're going to use to activate Storm Shroud. I don't even have Storm Shroud yet, so I don't have any kind of elemental ailment immunity. So I don't need damage right now. What I need is defense. You know, a Rise Lothos is not going to help you on Uber Pinnacle bosses unless you've scaled your damage so high that you run in and basically one-tap everything, which is going to require hundreds of Divines on a Cyclone build. So you kind of have to balance out the defense a bit. Getting like insane damage on Cyclone, especially where you're playing pure Cyclone and not running General's Cry, you're not going to have a lot of success with that on Uber Pinnacle bosses. It's not going to be like, you know, Lightning Strike from 3.25. If you don't pay attention to your defenses, you're going to have a really bad time. If your goal is to do the hardest content in the game. If you just want to blast like T16s and maybe T17s, you don't have to put that much attention into it, but T17 bosses are still going to present you with issues. Yeah, that's fine, Sensei. But, like, yeah, I don't know. I still think, like, you're going to have issues on T17 bosses if you don't have any layers of defense. They're kind of rippy. But I'm not as defensive as I would like to be right now, and I'm not really having issues with T17 bosses, so... Yeah, I think the play is you run like a rare belt and you know, like a Stygian, you socket one of your Abyss Jewels in there with a 50% chance to avoid being shocked. You could also roll a flask that has like 50% chance to avoid being shocked, and with decent uptime, you pretty much can solve your elemental ailment immunity that way, and then just socket Storm Shroud into the tree. Yeah, that's kind of disgusting. 76% global crit multi. That's a nice snipe. Yeah, I mean, you do you, Sensei. Like, you're going, you're deviating further and further from my build, which is fine. I encourage you guys to do whatever you want. You know, you don't have to follow what I'm doing. But, you know, for instance, by not taking, like, Ignomatic Defense on your Amulet and going for Charisma, by running Rise Lothas over a rare, like, the further you deviate from my build, it's no longer a block build. I don't know how comfortable you're going to be doing, you know, doing farm strategies in T17s, and how it's going to feel doing the T17 bosses. If you have like no defense on this build, you're going to basically be a glass cannon. Yeah, you've done some crazy ramp for 2 days. That's pretty impressive. Your gear looks like solid for 2 days. Did you league start like 2 days ago? And did you swap from another character?
Lives on,
Because this is pretty solid gear for 2 days. Yeah. Honestly, you could probably keep the Rise Lothos if your goal is just to do T17s, and I'm like you. I really don't like doing Uber Pinnacle bosses myself. I just kind of prefer actually chilling in T16s and maybe T17s. I think the Rise Lothos is fine. I think personally what I'm going to probably end up doing is running a Headhunter on my build, and I'm just going to live basically in T17s if I want to do some farming. And maybe I'll just run Storm Shroud and an Abyss Jewel somewhere on my tree in the sockets. Especially once I get a Cluster Jewel setup going. But I do think like if your goal is to push this build as far as possible and make it comfortable, you either have to scale the damage incredibly high. Yeah, well, normal Cyclone is also going to do, you know, less damage than Cyclone of Tumult. So, once again, if you just want to farm maps, that's fine. You don't have to do, like, you know, my build. But you're not going to be successful at bossing if you're running, I think, normal Cyclone, with, especially since you're not using General's Cry. Like, just running pure Cyclone without General's Cry, and you're not using Cyclone of Tumult, your bossing experience, even on T17s, is going to be pretty... It's not going to be great. It's not going to be great. Yeah, I'm here. What's up? Oh, this guy is trying to buy something for me. You there, bro? Want to hit a reflect for me? Dude. I can do it. I think your faith in my streamer client is greater than what it really is.
What have you
I want to do another fortress, and I want to take off that one mod and see if that makes a difference on how good it feels. Hey, I'm down. If you want me to reflect it, we can see. Man, I spent a divine on fusings and failed to 6-link. Yikes. Yeah, 6-linking can be kind of a gamba. Alright, so we're gonna reflect. So, what is your hope here? That we basically flip the prefix suffix? Implicit modifiers cannot be changed. Yeah. Hey, what's your PoE profile name so we can import your character to PoE? This is, if you do the command in chat, it'll take you to my profile. Suggest using Black Morgan and then try to get one with 40% not consume beast on average costs. Oh, crafting stuff, yeah. Oh. Apparently I don't know how to type. But, yeah. You got it. Yeah. Chat, don't do what I'm doing. Reflecting amulets is a stupid idea. Alright, here we go. We're gonna reflect this, insanely... Does something like this even exist on trade right now? I don't even think this exists on trade. Yeah, for like... Cheapest is like 16 divine. Yeah, this is a very expensive amulet, guys. Alright, here we go. Ooh. 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 Dude. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, dude. That's so unfortunate. Sorry, dude. Alright, I'm gonna try another T17. I'm gonna remove that one mod and see if it makes it feel a little bit more comfy. But I still think my problem is the big hits. Can't take the big hits. Oh wow. Congrats on the Mage Blood, Martin. That's crazy. I've had one Mage Blood drop in all my time playing PoE. And I've only played 8,000 hours now almost. Oh, you shouldn't leech now? Yeah, that's true, right? Alright, let's pick up another fortress map here. Your hands are shaking? Are you saying I have 12 million? I have way more than 12 million full DPS right now. So let's import my character and see what I'm actually sitting at. So let's go back, let's do new, import me, Mercenaries League, here we go. Okay, skills, Generalist Cry. Make sure when you enable this that you set this to 2, because on average it hits twice on a target. We're also going to enable our Cyclone of Tumults. We'll ramp that up to 5 stages. Okay. Let me expand this so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. And I'll move it down to show the total configuration. So we are bursting with banner. Got our infusion cyclone, max pride on enemy. This up here so you guys can see. Then we have our 40 rage. We are leeching. We're within 15 of the enemy at close range. We have our power charges. We have our endurance charges. We are fortified. And then our flasks are up. We have our flasks up. And that should be about it for a burst window on a boss. Yeah, I don't think I'd have anything else going. Oh. If we wanted to factor in our mercenary, like say on a T17 boss, because he doesn't die, nearby hits. What's Perkle's toe? Damage with hits is lucky. Well, you don't drop your war banner until you get to a boss, Bacon. That's the idea. You don't use war banner when you're mapping, ever. So, like, you would just get to the boss and drop your war banner for your burst cycle. So I'm sitting at, like, with no mercenary shenanigans or anything. We just have our endurance charges, our power charges. And we've been near the boss for 4 seconds, so max pride effect with banner drop. We're sitting at like 30 mil damage.
The Empire awaits you with open jaws.
Yeah, I mean, even if you half the banners, we're at like 27 mil. You know, say you just got like 25 stacks, which doesn't take that long to stack up. We're still at like 27 mil. Like, I just showcased doing a T17 and an Uber Pinnacle boss. Like I said, my problem is not damage right now. I mean, obviously more damage is better. The problem is I need different layers of defense now. Progenesis to take a large hit. Elemental ailment immunity to make sure I'm not getting shocked and things like that. Especially shocked. Yeah. I mean, me getting more damage on this build is going to require, like, you know, messing with the Abyssus Helm. Running, like, my double pride Watcher's Eye. So like if I socket in a double pride's Watcher Eye right now, that's a ton of damage. So impale additional hits, as well as pride increased, gets increased fizz damage. Yeah, so just this one Watcher's Eye adds like 6-7 million on the build. Yeah, so there's some pretty juicy upgrades to still get. Technically, a better staff, although this one will carry me for a long time. Crafting my chests with the attack hit crit chance on there is also going to be pretty huge. So, yeah, but right now I'm more concerned about my defenses than I am about my damage. I'm using crap gear on my Mercenary right now. I actually might do that real quick. I need to buy him. I need to fix my Mercenary up. But my problem was, like, I'm trying to fish for the Determination Vitality Mercenary, the strength-based one, and see what his gear looks like when I get him and then kit him out. But I guess in theory I could just put the same gear. I don't know if this guy can run a pure strength weapon versus like what I would get on a because all of his gear is strength dex, so yeah, even if I bought gear for this guy, I wouldn't be able to put it on the strength Mercenary because he's not going to be able to wear strength dex gear. So I think I'm just going to wait till I get the right Mercenary, and then I'll kit him out. Oh, that'd be dope, right, Japoni? Yeah. Can he, though? Because I had a strength int weapon, and a strength character couldn't equip it. He couldn't do a hybrid weapon. My strength guy can wear strength dex and strength int? Okay. So it might be worth then just getting the gear now for this guy to make him more tanky. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the one I'm looking for, Sergeant. The one that does, like, Determination and Vitality. My PDPS on my staff right now is sitting at 1k, Derek. 1k PDPS. Oh yeah, sorry. That's me, Reaper. I was looking at POB and I forgot to, I have to, like, zoom in on my POB so you guys can read it, so... Nah, it's just, it's zoomed in brutal, because I have a display capture for my game, so when I bring up POB, it's in the same display, essentially, and I have to zoom in so you guys can see what's going on. Got a Divine Altar, but it was the map boss one. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I'll take a look at what you got going on there. Copy. Yeah. Yeah, I really want to get one of those strength-based ones that has determination and vitality. Okay, let's roll this T17. I'm going to take off that one mod from earlier. Hey, how's it going? See what we roll here. Chance to suppress spell damage doesn't matter. Avoid Impale is kind of unfortunate. In theory, this should be okay. How much is the unique jewel going for? I'm having a hard time finding it using POB. Which unique jewel? There's a couple in the tree. Enemies cannot deal chaos damage on hit with it. It went from 5C to 1 divine. What's the name of the gloves, Bacon? What are they actually called? Damn. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. Yeah, the shock is pretty good. I also like the increased area of effect of aura scope. Oh, that's just area of effect, not like increased actual of the aura. This works on your Merc and all shrine buffs you get, he gets. Ah, I see, yeah. Yeah, light meeting is going to be expensive. Yeah, young, nice. Gave my Mark Carnage Heart 2 300 plus P DPS re-raxes in my first set of attack speed. He does okay, I bet. Yeah, light meeting is going to be expensive. I'm actually going to like look at fixing my guy's gear real quick then. He basically needs just a helm that has decent life and resistances. Yeah, it's pretty good. I wonder, Japoni mentioned the Elder Thieves Torment. Well, there's so many different things we can do, yeah, with the Mercenary. I don't have the Storm Shroud set up yet. Oh, you're asking Brutal. Do you have updated POB? If you do the POB command, Stallion, you can get it. Yeah, so just get any Elder eye level 85 health and spam Reforge Fizz on it. Gotcha. Well, what's the... It's the nearby enemies take increased Fizz damage, right, Japone? Yeah. I kind of like that helm for this guy. So it needs to have Elder Influence. Has Elder Influence, and it's a helm. And it's level 85. It also needs to be armor based. In this case, armor evasion for our dude. This guy actually wants to respond. Oh, there he goes. I liked having Leap Slam early on, Vaughn, but I've actually removed it from my setup. I just use Frostblink now. Especially once I'm Cyclone of Tumult, like Frostbank is just better because it doesn't disrupt your stacks. Yes, elevated is 12%, which is really good. How do you elevate it, Japoni? Like, I understand the spamming Fizz Reforged to get the 9%. How do you elevate it to 12? Orb of Dominance, gotcha. Oh, you like the Atlas Tree guide? Nice. Bet you do. How much harvest juice do I have for spamming? Oh, I got a ton. Okay. Reforged physical. Boom. Am I happy with these rolls though? The fire resistance is actually really nice. The regen life is kind of unfortunate. I could just craft life on this though. Yeah, it's kind of terrible, right? Like the fire resistance is actually not too bad, but the regen life is kind of tragic actually, and the armor rating is just like not good. Yeah, it's also garbage. This is a little bit better, but no, we're gonna keep going. I don't know how I feel about Starcrawler yet. I'm making a different Cyclone build. It's not based around, I'm making a different Cyclone build. I'll actually show you guys real quick. I was showing this earlier. Still playing around with it, but I really want to play with the new Wave of Conviction gem. So I'm leveling up this Elementalist, and the idea is this wouldn't be a Cyclone of Tumult build. It would just be Cyclone, but it's cast while channeling, and basically we explode and ignite everything. I'm still working on it. I got a few things I have to figure out on it, but I have a level 90 POB for it that seems pretty promising. I just gotta level it up and get it geared and do some stuff.
Not worth dying for.
To me, I just kind of find this a little hilarious. So, I am looking at doing another Cyclone build, but I think this is going to be kind of what I make. I just got to get all the pieces for it together. And the idea is we stack 4 Heralds on it. Right now I'm just running 1 Herald in Clarity, but yeah, we would stack, essentially we're going to run 4 Heralds and dip into the new Herald, Bringer of Ruin buff. And then we're also going to run 4 Golems and dip into that. I don't know if it's going to be better than the Slayer, but I think it's going to be a fun build to play. I think it's going to be more defensive than Slayer in a lot of ways. This build has better physical damage mitigation actually than Slayer does, at least in my POV. We get a lot, like this node is actually crazy now because we get 40% of fizz damage converted to fire enemies that we ignite. So it's basically like a Cloak of Flame. And then we're also going to be taking Aegis, which is really strong as a defensive layer. So this character actually, I think, unironically, will be tankier than my Slayer. I don't think its damage will be as high, but it might be tankier once I get it all set up. And I can scale the ignites better. But I just find it hysterical. The new wave of conviction just seems like a fun thing to play. So this is what I've been messing around with on the side when I'm not streaming. I really don't want to like post a POB on it or do too much because I actually want to level it up to like red maps and see how it does. The only thing I got to figure out is originally I was just going to play Wave of Conviction, the skill itself, and I was going to use like Obliteration for pops and explosions. But we can't use a wand if we're doing Cyclone. So I need to find out another way to do like explosions with this character. Ooh, that's really smart, Reaper. Yeah, an Impulsa would actually be huge on this build, right? 'Cause that's like... I completely slept on Impulsa. Huey. And here's the cool thing about this build. My plan is we're going to... Impulsas would actually be perfect. Because I want to take the 4 ascendancies are going to be Shaper of Flames, Shaper of Storms, Leech of Primordial, and Bastion. So we're always going to shock, which means Impulsa is online. And then I was going to dip into things like Static Blows here, and also probably a few other things to scale the shock damage. So we're going to have Ignite, we're going to shock. Impulsas would give us explosions. Oh, that's so dope, yeah. And then I'm going to run like a Searing Torch, I think, so we're still going to use a staff on this build. You can't, so in PoE, Brit doesn't do anything for Ignite, so this is an Ignite build. So it wouldn't be cast on crit. I would be doing what I'm doing right now, it's cast while channeling. So I spin Cyclone, and then I essentially, every like 0.25 seconds, Wave of Conviction pops off. Yeah, in PoE 2, crit matters for like dot damage and stuff, but that's not a thing in PoE 1. All that scales the damage of a dot in PoE 1 is the base hit before there's crit and all that other stuff. Not even spell damage has an effect on dots. It's just the base hit. But yeah, so cast while channeling Cyclone, and then every like 0.2-ish seconds, Wave of Conviction just explodes around us. But yeah, if we run like an Impulsas, that solves the explosion issue, because I'm going to do a Cluster Jewel setup with like Ignite Proliferation, and then enemies that I kill that are ignited, their corpses get destroyed, so we won't have any corpses around for any kind of on-screen death effect stuff. And then the only thing I was missing by doing the Cyclone thing was, instead of running Obliteration for explosions, I could do Impulsa, since we're going to be doing Shaper of Storms. So yeah, that actually made me even more excited about doing this character. Ah, I want to play this so bad right now. See, the thing about me is I like to build different characters in this game. I like to do different things. I'm so hyped now. Like, I didn't even think of Impulsa. Totally slept on that helm. And then because we're not running Cyclone of Tumult, we'll be able to like get some juicy movement speed boots, run a Quicksilver Flask, so we'll be a lot more speedy on this build than our Slayer. The thing is, like, with Ignite builds, our bossing damage is going to be pretty bad unless we do some serious investment to scale the Ignite damage. But as a mapper, it's going to be phenomenal for just mapping currency. So my Slayer might end up just being my bossing character if I want to do that at the moment, and then this could be like my zoomy T16 mapper once I get some movement speed on this guy and start really... Talking about, what's the Doriani Merc tech saying? So I'll show you guys. I have a general POV that I've come up with the character. So this is my current thoughts for the build. Let me do the thing again where I increase the screen size of this for you guys. So essentially, let's see if I can make it larger. So basically, our gear investment is pretty cheap. We're using a Searing Torch, which should be incredibly cheap on trade. We're also using like replica Emberwake, that shouldn't be too expensive. The Death Rush and the Taste of Hate might be somewhat pricey, but not like anywhere near expensive as what I have on my Cyclone build right now. And then the rest of the gear is just basically life and resistances and spell suppression. And the idea is, yeah, we would run our 3 Heralds. We have Righteous Fire to give us the boost in cast speed, which I have simmed right here for Righteous Fire. And then we are running our Wave of Conviction Cyclone setup. We've got our 4 Golems for buffs. I'm then using, I have us spec'd into Whispers of Doom right now, so that way we can do double curse. So we have a brand, we'll just apply Arcanist to do Flame Surge for some on-ground fire damage degen on top of everything, as well as our 2 curses. I have our Mercenary set up to be running Malevolence and Grace, so that we get, we can scale our evasion, and we also get more dot damage. Oh, that's crazy. How do we offset our Merc dying, though, to the lightning resistance issues? If I put a Doriani's on them. I've seen that in builds before. Oh, yeah, that's right. Armor also applies to lightning damage taken from hits, so you just scale your armor really high. So we would need like a really beefy armor stacking, like probably strength int. The problem with this, though, is I really want to run Grace and Malevolence on a character. I guess Malevolence is an int aura, or is it? I guess it counts as Dex int, huh? I don't think we can find Malevolence on a strength int based character to wear Doriani's. So I might have to, but I guess all the damage you're getting from Doriani's makes up for not running Malevolence as an aura. So there's that thought process too. But yeah, I was completely sleeping on Impulsos. It's crazy, yeah. But as you guys can see, like if you look at our physical damage taken, like we're extremely beefy. All we're running here is we get endurance charges from our small cluster jewel up here. So we get endurance charges if we've been hit recently. We're applying Cyclone, so we're going to be on top of enemies, so we're going to have endurance charges. We get our Fortify. That's what I was doing. No, where am I getting my Fortify from? How did I figure this out? Where am I getting my Fortify from? Maybe I simmed that incorrectly. I forget where I'm getting Fortify from. I might not have it actually. Anyways, even without Fortify, we're still at like 22 Fizz hit. But yeah, basically endurance charges. And then we're running like, have we killed recently as a mapper? Our brand on enemy. It's pretty straightforward. The dot damage isn't terrible, but it's not great for like bossing. Basically, it's got like close to 4 million dot damage right now, or ignite damage, which is like, I don't know, like the equivalent of like 10 to 12 million hit damage. So I'd have to find a way to like scale the dot damage up a lot more in order for this to be like a real bosser. But for like blasting maps and stuff, it would be, I think, phenomenal for like a quick speed mapper. But yeah, this is probably the next character that I'm going to build and play around with. I think it could be pretty promising. I like the idea of running Dorianis. I guess we'd have to run like a strength int based. If I look at PoE database, what's up, Zane? I think Malevolence can only be on an int-based character. Can it be on a strength int base? No. So we wouldn't be able to run Malevolence. Well, I'm thinking about the aura for Malevolence that I wanted to run, and it looks like it's on Dex int and int-based mercs, but there's no strength int or strength Dex int merc that runs Malevolence. Herald of Fire. So there's Herald of Ash, which is I'm already running on my build. Remember that animated guardian exists and grants you a free aura for 3 sockets. Yeah, that is true. I'm just worried about my animate guardian dying a lot versus the mercenary. In my experience, animate guardians don't do too well unless you're playing a minion build and you're buffing minion health and minion resistances. Because you can slot gear on them, but they don't have all of the... Yeah, I guess they do respawn. The thing I don't know about running... so I'm running Herald of Ash on my actual character right now. And the reason I'm running Herald of Ash on the character, not like on the mercenary, is it's... Oh, did I not take... I don't take the Herald buff anyways. So, yeah, it doesn't even matter. We could just run Herald of Ash on a mercenary. Winging it on a Cyclone champ, I learned lean more into crit and it's fun but can be rippy. Got your macro. What's up, silly? Yeah, I kind of really want to level this thing. But yeah, I'll do that later. I'll play around with this later. That's going to be kind of like my next idea for a character. I think it'll be a really fun mapper. I can probably get it good enough to do T17s. I don't think it'll ever be an Uber Pinnacle bosser or have the ability to do it. I'd have to scale the ignite damage so high. Oh, yep, thanks. I always forget. I always forget. There we go. That's actually crazy armor and evasion. Yeah, I had to fix the resolution on the display. That's actually a lot of armor and evasion. The life regen's not bad either, and so is the fire resist. I could just craft life on this, and this might be a decent helm for our mercenary.
The Empire lives on, and so do its most loyal of servants.
Oh, that's a perfect roll. GG. What's our guy using right now? So he's currently using a way worse helm. What's Runegraft of Time in Dinga? Yeah, this thing's crazy. You said Orb of Dominance to elevate it? It says removes. How do I use Orb of Dominance if there's only one elevated or one influenced? Do I have to do something where I add more influence to this? I don't know if I'm not gonna run Animate Guardian on my Cyclone. That's not happening. So these flasks are way better. You only gain one charge from a critical strike, and it's not as frequent as you think. There's a cooldown, Guillermo. Whereas I always gain 3 charges as soon as I'm hit by an enemy, and we get hit a lot. So these refill almost instantly. The prefix for the critical strike stuff is way slower. Yeah, I was gonna say you need 2 influences on there, right? And then you get a 50-50 with the Dominance Orb. Suffixes can't be changed, yeah, and then you'd have to slam it with reforge something that guarantees influence modifier. Like this right here. Oh, 2 influence mods, not 2 influences. Okay, so it can be the same thing with 2 influence mods. Reforge an influence rare item with random modifiers. Okay. Like I get putting not this harvest craft. Okay. Yeah, I get doing suffixes can't be changed, and then you basically, which reforge do I do? I would swap to crit first, Mikil, and then eventually work on getting Stampede so you can use Cyclone of Tumult. Reforge fire with full suffixes. So this one right here. So basically suffixes can't be changed, and then I run this right here. Right. How much gold do I have? Probably not enough to get chaos. Gotcha. So we could brick the item. Okay. I never have enough gold.
Awaits you with
Never have enough
open
gold.
jaws.
We can run this T17, I think, right? Yeah, I wanted to test this out. We'll go run a T17 and get some gold. Doesn't matter. We're gonna swap over to the Expedition Harvest Tree. You drop your Desecrate twice, so you have enough corpses for your General Cries to spawn. Since when you're bossing, there's no killed enemies nearby. You don't have corpses nearby for the tech to work. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, Loner, if the bases are expensive. I still think if you're going to craft an in-game weapon, like you're going to go all in on an in-game weapon, you're going to want to, I mean, are 28%, 27 to 28% SMI bases that are 83 level or higher really that expensive? I haven't even searched today to see what the price is for them. I'm not like a huge influencer. I don't imagine how my crafting video could have had that kind of impact, but maybe, I don't know. I don't want to be presumptuous. Definitely on the budget end of this build. Most things are cheap. I've managed to get all the core items. Gotcha. Yeah, in my new POBs, we're using Ground Slam of Earth Shaking. It has better AOE and slightly more damage. In my crafting video, Loner, I show that you can make a staff that's very cheap and it will carry you through all of your T16s and Void Stones. The staff that I made that I'm using right now is to do content like what I'm doing right now. Not for like T16s and Atlas Progression and Void Stones and that kind of stuff. Loner, if you want, you can get like a eye level 83 base. You can an 83 base or higher will still get you your highest fizz rolls, I believe, although Japoni might be able to correct me on that. Alright, how much gold did I get already? Yeah, I figure 83 should be fine. Alright, let's see how this goes. Oh, hold on. Thank you, pause screen. Oh, he's possessed? Oh no, oh no. This is gonna suck. Possessed boss, rip. Yeah. How did he get possessed? I guess it just randomly spawned in a room. I could have sworn that's not on the mod list. Yeah, we just got unlucky with that, I guess. That's super unfortunate. That's no bueno. Yeah, this is where Progenesis really helps with those big hits. Yeah, he's just giga buffed right now. Because there's increased 45% increased attack speed as well as being possessed. Ezomite staffs have yeah, no problem, Loner. I noticed that Val Molten Shell can't activate by cast when damage taken. Val Molten Shell just gives you an additional button on your UI that you can press. I actually should be running it right now for something like this, to be honest, because it gives me like an extra defensive layer. I want you guys to understand that my Mercenary just died. So once again, I got to get better gear on him. He doesn't have like good armor scaling or resistances or anything. But these guys get kind of squishy when you start doing the harder content. Yeah, rip. I don't know if I can kill this guy. We'll see. He's super, like, possessed right now. Thank you, block. Way to get a little bit of damage uptime on him. Yeah. He's just moving too fast with the attack speed, cast speed, and all that fucking possessions shit. It's unfortunate. Nah. I think this is bricked. Yep. Alright. We'll add that to the mod pool. That's super unfortunate that he got possessed there. That's really cringe. Wait, where'd all my gold go? Did I spend my gold? Am I missing something? Am I crazy? Did I just... Oh, I used my gold. Wait, did I have like 12,000 gold? Hold on. We're gonna meant to manage, not visit, but we're gonna plunder from King's March. Yeah, we need more chaos.
We've much to discuss. expect nothing less.
Oh, I was muted. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to think what a good weapon for this guy would be. I'm looking through uniques right now. Can't run Kingmaker on him, unfortunately. I don't think he can use a Kingmaker, right? Because he's not a strength base, he's strength X. Yeah, I was trying to see if there's anything we can... Is Kingmaker strength dex? Yeah. Yeah, they are, right? I mean, Kingmaker would be the OP option for sure. We could run Kingmaker on him. The problem is we couldn't run Kingmaker on a... Well, it's expensive right now, but also we can't run Kingmaker on a strength-based mercenary, right? Or no, they can use strength dex gears, that what other people were saying. Brutality is better than Conk, yeah, Shaz. Yeah, Kingmaker is hella expensive right now. So that's probably not going to happen. But yeah, obviously, because what I was thinking was if we get Kingmaker on this guy, we could, in theory, drop Headsman. Because the movement speed does nothing for us. The attack speed is nice. But if he gives us coal and fortification, then we can actually drop Headsman and we could actually go into like Endless Hunger. 20% of overkill damage is leeched, 20% increased attack speed while leeching, can't be stunned and unaffected by bleeding. Yeah. Like Kingmaker makes it so that we can spec out a Headsman and we can go Endless Hunger instead. And then we can drop Unwavering Stance. We don't have to worry about getting stun immunity on our chest. And we still get coaling from our Merc. Yeah, I probably need to level up my Molten Shell. I actually need to buy a Vile Molten Shell. Yeah, Kingmaker lets us actually do our Ascendancy differently. And drop Unwavering Stance. Is Kingmaker actually worth it right now? Kingmaker might actually be a really good play. But I'd like to fix the rest of his gear first. Okay, Kingmaker would be dope, actually. But we need like, you know, that's what I'm saying, Japoni. Like, we run a Kingmaker, and then we fix the rest of his gear so his life and armor and resistances are good. And then we have Kingmaker, nearby enemies take 12% increased fizz damage. We got our Perkle's Toe, we got our Calm's Binding. It's pretty good. It actually lets me run a different implicit on my chest too, because I don't have to worry about Fortify. It's kind of like pseudo Fortify, right? It's only 10 stacks, so it's not as good. So I think I actually think I still run the implicit on the chest. I do like 20 stacks of Fortify. But the crit multi, the Coaling Strike, yeah, that lets us get out of this, respec that, get this point back on the Chi. Are you saying that he's like, he's locked into an axe and shield? Like, I can't put a two-hand weapon here? Surely someone has asked that question. I'm running more than skill for Forbidden Flesh Flame. So we get the lucky block from Gladiator right now. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I think I'm just gonna fix up the rest of his gear. I'm just gonna get him like life resistance, armor, gloves, better boots, better chest. Just gonna fix his gear real quick so he has better stats, and I can figure out that other stuff later. Yeah, shaky. That's why I updated the POV. Running Resolute technique far into mapping is not the play. It is not good. Alright, in that case, let's look for... What's he deficient in right now? So this doesn't have any resistances on it. Chaos is his worst thing. And then lightning. Also, we can fix that with a decent amethyst ring. Merc regen scales a lot. I have 2k. Yeah, he's sitting at 1500 himself. Life regen's actually not a bad thing to scale. On the gloves, actually. Fire, lightning, increased evasion, armor, life. These are pretty decent. Flippy guides, man. I had my best league start ever so far, and I'm touching T16s, even though I'm on Xbox with a big delay. Nice, dude. Glad to hear it. This guy gonna trade me anytime? Alright, there we go. See. Let's go ahead and quality this up. Nice. And we can throw these on our mercenary. Alright, much better. His life regen is up to 1700, not bad. Okay. Now we need better boots. Much better boots. Yeah. So let's go for boots. And all we care about here is going to be, I guess, lightning resist, cold resist would be good here, and better movement speed. So let's see, movement speed. Let's see what this looks like. Thanks for the tip on the necklace earlier. Can you share what gloves base stats I'm looking for now? What gloves base stats I'm looking for now? Mostly I'm running life and resistances and armor on my gloves just to help out with defense. That's basically what I'm doing. I just went like with an armor base. So these are Leviathan, but whatever has the highest armor basically. I'm currently 95 as a... My current crafted staff is low end, but it's 450 fizz. Can you explain the desecrate? Desecrate's so that we can spawn corpses on bosses. So basically, I have Blood Rage here. I socket Blood Rage in my boots, and I use Blood Rage when I'm mapping. And then when I go to do an actual boss, I swap Desecrate in so that I can put down some Desecrate so General Surprise spawns corpses. So that's basically what I'm doing. I went back to straight armor mark. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be worth it on this build. Let's go ahead and craft on some armor. Evasion. We'll throw these on our merc.
Naturally, I'd expect nothing
Alright.
less.
What's his stats looking like now? Much, much better on LE resistances. Life regen's almost at 2k. Yeah, I keep seeing it. I should take a look at that ring. Can't hold. I'll sell it to him, whatever. I know what that ring is. It was my old ring. I think I have it underpriced. It doesn't matter. Yeah, he's been hitting me up. Does he not want it? Alright. Looking a lot better here. I'm not too worried about that right now. I'm trying to get him just to be a little bit more survivable at the moment. So what do we need? Basically, just some chaos resistance on him. But basically a chaos resistance ring here would be good. Let's grab an amethyst ring. chaos resistance on it. Okay, and then he does have some cold resist on here, which is fine. We can actually drop that cold resist and he has to be at cap. So really just decent life and chaos resistance and maybe some fire resistance. Allocated small passive skills and radius grant nothing, grants all bonuses. That's super vague, Alex. I'd have to look at your POV and play around with your character. You think Carnage Heart would be viable substitute till I get the right? Yeah, Carnage Heart's a really good amulet starting out. I don't know much about Volcanic Fissure either, Alex. I'm not, I don't play that, unfortunately. Okay. Slot this here.
Spiffing.
Much, much better. Okay, so his resistances are a lot better. Way, way better.
Very well.
Better, better life regen. Okay. We improved him. Yeah, sorry Alex, I'm not don't know much about Fisher. Alright, let's grab another fortress. I'll make some changes to the regex. Nah bro, don't try to scam me. Give me my map. Freaking people dude in trade. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. You can fix the ring, weapon, and shield later. Alright. I came across one of the infamous mercs in a T17 actually. Alright. We have less area of effect, but it should be fine.
Orb of Skelly. Oh, Scarab! Cha-ching! Cha-ching round! Cha-ching! Cha-ching round! Cha-ching! Regal Orb! Cha-ching! Cha-ching! What's a flask? Orb of Alchemy! Bow Orb! Cha-ching! 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 Bow Orb! Regal Orb! Orb of Scouring! Chaos Orb!
Let me guess. Outside garden section is what they call it. You do realize who I am, don't you? By all means, throw your life away. You are nothing.
To have such
I
a
imagine this is the nicest thing you'll ever own.
Chaos Orb.
Be on your guard.
Regal Orb. Orb of Scouring.
I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna grab some water. I'm sorry to hear that, Troll. It's super unfortunate. Why not send her for General's Cry? Ground Slam does more AoE and slightly more damage. Yeah, it's rather unfortunate for sure. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to spend the rest of stream. So what I got to do now is just save up money. I think for next big upgrades to the build would be a Progenesis to push through the bossing, and I got to get a Storm Shroud going. So I'll probably end up doing like grab level 96, 97, get this jewel socket here for a Storm Shroud, and then swap over to a Stygian Vice to run my 50% Void Shock Jewel here, and then I'll swap one of these flasks over to the other 50%, and that will give me Elemental Avoidance. So I think that plus a Progenesis in my flask setup is going to put us in the right direction here. That's only going to be like 100 Divine. Other than that, like at this state, as you guys have seen today, I can do T17s. I can do, at least did one of the Uber Pinnacle bosses. Could do the others. I think Uber Elder would be relatively okay on this build. And so would Eater. I don't know of any Goog videos, sorry Fire. I think Eater would be okay, Uber Elder would be okay. Maven and
The Empire
Cyrus
lives
will
on,
probably be the hardest.
and so do its most loyal of servants.
Thanks Fire for the sub. Yeah, I think I'm going to spend a little bit of time just leveling up my test character that I'm playing with here. Test out this character. So, let me pull my POB. I was doing some Rogue Exile stuff, Loner, actually, on Cyclone. I can show you that to you real quick. I was actually doing that as my farming strategy. Rogue Exiles have been kind of fun. Yeah, so I've been running Titanic with Anarchy, as well as Gigantification. And I've just been blasting Toxic Sewers, and I have a Rogue Exile tree set up. I can show you what that looks like.
Hold still.
So yeah, there's some Rogue Exiles.
Interesting.
Yeah, the Rogue Exiles get deleted. Cyclone versus Cyclone. Cyclone versus Cyclone. Yeah. Like I said, damage is not the problem on this build. The only thing I gotta really work on now is just scaling layers of defense for when I do the hardest content in the game, which is like Uber Pinnacle bosses, right? And T17 bosses if they have like some crazy mods on them.
That's a flash. That's a flash. Regal orb. Cheese orb.
Yes, the Awakened Melee Fizz is good for this build.
Cha-ching.
Unfortunately, we're Unwavering Stance Loner for stun immunity, so we don't benefit from evasion.
Oh, still now.
Hey, nice Big Mad. Dope.
I can't do this just yet.
They're over here.
Cha-ching. Cha-ching.
Oh, there's a T17 map.
Cha-ching. Orb of fuse. Cha-ching. Orb of scouring. Hi, T-Rod. Hi, T-Rod. Cha-ching.
You're either a client, doesn't matter how this ends. Only they die, this won't take long. Gears yours. I don't know your results.
Oh, Scar. That's a flash.
Yeah, so definitely able to do Rogue Exiles. It's all good, Nas. Wait, hold on. What level am I? 47? I think I put this in my unique tab. Finish what craft, Moon? My staff? Yeah. Yeah, no problem, Dingo. Not today, Japoni. I'm too tired. I was out today with the family doing stuff. I'm actually struggling to play right now, to be honest. I think tomorrow my stream is going to be way earlier in the day, because tomorrow's my last day off of work. I go into work on Friday. I think tomorrow I'm just going to stream really early and just stream a lot. Crafting the chest, though, is going to require a couple, like what, 20 divine or something? I don't have that currency right now. I gotta gen up a bunch of currency again because I blew all my currency in the last day getting all the stuff. I need your big brain on how to craft the chest. I'll have to watch a video on it because I usually just buy the chest. But yeah. Good enough. It's less than 10 divines on average to craft it. That's not too bad. I should be able to farm up the currency. Well, there's an example I just made, basically divine off this guy right here. I should be able to farm up the currency by tomorrow, and then we can make them. Maybe tomorrow we do the chest on stream. We'll do that. I'll farm up the currency, and then we can go through the crafting steps together. That'd be dope. When are you normally available, Japoni? You have a staff craft guide or anything? I made a video, Judd, on my YouTube channel for crafting staffs. Oh yeah, I feel you, Japoni. I'm zoning out too. What time tomorrow are you gonna be around? Because I'm gonna be streaming a lot tomorrow, but I figured you could craft the chest tomorrow. I can just farm up some currency and have some stuff ready for tomorrow. I've already got 4 divine here plus another 2, so I just need to farm up a few more things and liquidate some stuff from my stash, and I should have plenty to do a craft tomorrow. I'm EU and my soup schedule is beyond fucked. Why is this guy trying to trade me still? I'll tell you what time are you available tomorrow? I'll make sure I have currency farmed up by then. Okay. Well, I'll just stream tomorrow, and then whenever you hop in chat, I'll hopefully have some currency saved up. Yeah. So, I suspect that in about 14 hours from now, I'll probably be doing another stream. So, like, yeah, probably like, I don't know, 6 p.m. your time, something like that. Did I not clear the Twilight Chandelier? RIP. I'm probably going to be swapping more towards playing this character, and then I'll probably just like craft the chest on stream and do a few things, but yeah, I gotta farm up a lot of currency and get a few defensive items, but I mean, I can do T17s and pinnacle bosses on the build, so Everything on it now is just scaling out really expensive items, and I can gen currency on any character. It doesn't have to be that specific character. Do I want the Giga Costly Black Morgan craft to guarantee an OP suffix? What's the suffix we get with Black Morgan? Oh, you pay 2 divine, get the Hinakora's lock. Wait, isn't a Hinakora's lock like 20 divine or something? Only magic items. Okay, I'll have to have you walk me through it tomorrow. Maybe we can do some craft of exile on stream so I understand what I'm doing, and then I just go through the craft tomorrow on stream. Could be good. I actually don't know why I'm doing the Lily quest. I have her in my hideout. This doesn't even matter. I think the best endgame staff is going to be an Ezomite staff that has a higher crit chance, but does have the high simplicit on it. Respect points? What do you mean green? To what? Old habit of doing the Lily quest? Yeah, for sure. When we say high simplicity, are we talking about the Tempering Orb or whatever? Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing anything mirror tier on my Cyclone. That's a little too much for me. I'm overall happy even with the damage I have on it now. I just need to find creative ways to solve defenses so that it's more comfortable with doing bossing and stuff like Pentacles. Hey look guys, it's like another almost a little more than half a divine. Monies, monies. That's crazy money you got there, Japone. I think my plan is going to be to... I'm probably just going to run a bunch of T17s tomorrow morning before stream. And, because I can successfully farm T17s enough to kill the bosses and get the frags. And I'm just going to sell a bunch of the frags and make easy chaos like I'm doing right now. Convert it over to divine, so I'll probably do like quite a few T17s, and then just general other stuff that I'll get from sales, doing all the mapping. I've already unlocked the other zone.
Let me teach you the laws of war. The Empire awaits you with open jaws.
Thanks, S, for the follow.
I must have jinxed myself. Here we go again.
Alright guys, I think I'm actually going to call it here. I started streaming pretty late today and I'm actually pretty tired. What's up, S? I'm making a build that uses Cyclone with Castle Channeling with the new Wave of Conviction of Trathus. So another Cyclone, different Cyclone build. But yeah, I need to probably get some sleep. I will be streaming tomorrow. The plan is to just probably run some more T17s, get some currency, and then maybe craft the chest tomorrow. Get the craft for the chest squared away. So that's what we'll work on tomorrow. And then I'll be playing around with this character a little bit more, seeing what I can do. I'd like to get this into maps so I can actually put some real gear on it and scale some stuff out. So, yeah. But, appreciate everybody watching. I'll be streaming a lot earlier tomorrow, probably sometime around 9 or 10 in the morning Pacific, East, US time. So, you know, I don't know what that is in GMT. That's like, what, 5 p.m., 6 p.m. or something GMT. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for all the support. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the build. And yeah, it'd be fun to see what I can do with this character. I think this could be a fun mapper. But yeah, I'll catch you all later. Have a good morning, evening, good night, wherever you are.